On the last show, Raj Badi took a look at how to make a demo tape. Now join local musician Peter Randall in his two-part series detailing how to record an independent CD.
Hello, I'm Peter Randall, lead singer of the Toronto band the Raindogs. We have started recording an independent CD, and on this show, we are going to show you the steps involved in recording and in releasing an independent CD. We will be taking you on this segment from songwriting right up into and including recording. Well, I suppose the first step in recording any album would have to be songwriting, because if you don't have the song, which is indeed the most important part of any album, you really don't have much to go with. I write majority of the band's material, but Roger here, the acoustic guitarist here, he also got involved in the songwriting process, and he brought, I believe it was 5 songs to me in sort of a half-finished state. And from there, we worked on those songs and polished them, and as co-writers, we developed those 5 songs, and actually all 5 of those ended up on the CD, as well as the, I believe, 6 or 7 songs of mine, and the Beatles cover that we chose.
Yeah, I think the main thing with me is I'm sort of a music person. I get ideas in my head, so Peter sort of helps sort those ideas out for me. I'll be going, I have this idea, Peter will go, okay, well, what does it make you feel like? So we'll end up telling each other the story, sort of like as if in front of a mirror, I play a chord, he plays a chord, and we sort of exchange words.
We just try to make it very poetic and very sort of universal, I guess, would be a key theme. And so we hone in on the songwriting, and we bring them to the band and try them out with the band and see if, in fact, they are worthy of even being on an album. Oh, geez, if that isn't a band, I don't know what is. Once we got the band together, naturally, we spent long hours in rehearsals and choosing songs and that, and then we had to, of course, get some gigs, some bars around Toronto to start testing the material, the band, and everything, because there's no sense in having a release and having an album release party if we're not a good band. The next step would certainly be choosing a recording studio. Now, we use 2 different studios on this record. One of them is here at Spence Thomas Productions. So if we go over here to the shelves of Spence Thomas and their CD collection, we'll of course see my CD that I made here called Slapped in the Face by a Rainbow, which was a solo album. As you can see there, it says Peter Randall, and now we are recording the new album for Peter Randall and the Raindogs, my new band, and someday, hopefully not too distant future, it will be sitting on these shelves alongside of that CD and alongside of Sting and the Beatles and the Nylons and other legendaries. I guess the heart and soul of any recording studio is indeed the recording console. And here we have the Neotech console. Looks rather complicated indeed to the untrained eye at first glance with all the knobs and flashing lights and things, but in reality a recording console is really a very simple thing, because normally a console will have a number of tracks. In this case, there's 24 input tracks here. In fact, this is called a strip. And this in here, I'm showing you, is strip number 18. Now, the way to simplify a recording console is that every strip is exactly the same. So if you learn, in fact, this little teeny section of the board, then you have learned this section of the board, the first 24 tracks, because in fact they're all the same. Beyond here you have the booth where the musicians are performing with your vocal mics and your pianos and things like that. The sound is coming in through the microphones or through the direct lines into the board here. We get all our sounds exactly how we want them in terms of EQ and levels and rev, and making everything sound exactly how we want them, and using what we want of what we've recorded. And we mix down to, these days we mix down to digital audio tape called DAT, and in fact you end up with a little tape about that big, that is in fact your entire album edited and sequenced, but that's at a much later stage. So this is sometimes called the vocal booth. This is a room where a lot of recording occurs. We do our guitars in here, and we do our vocals in here with the vocal mic, and this room is just sort of an isolation booth, so you can shut the door and listen with headphones and work on your multi-track recording.
He's a real nowhere man, sitting in his nowhere land, making all his nowhere plans for nobody.
Here is your main instrument, your 24-track tape machine. As you can see, the little VU meters for each of the 24 tracks. With your 2-inch tape, this is the tape that we use. It contains 24 tracks. So in here, each of these, you'd have 24 little heads, little teeny recording heads, going across there, recording in different spaces. So we can do our multi-track recording. Because in fact, in modern multi-track recording, lots of bands sometimes have not even met the people to play on their albums. Because in fact, we can bring him in here on one weekend and have him record guitars, say on tracks 3, 4, and 5. Now we can bring Roger in the next day, have him record on track 6 with a vocal or something, and we can have, in fact, a sax player come in and record on track 7, and without even having met each other, the guitarist and the sax player can be on a record together. Those are the basic steps from songwriting and forming the band right up to and through recording the CD. If you join us next time, we will show you the final product and we will take you to the CD release party. I'm Peter Randall for Word.